Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wildcard podcast. What a round we had, sorta, because we still have one more game we're going to talk about. It's still ongoing due to resumption, but everything else has been completed. We're going to recap the Swiss 64, talk a little bit about relegation, a little bit about maybe a little bit of playoff pictures while they're in Super League, a little D2 edition, this time with the chip coming close for G with his D2 recap, as well as the finale. That we hit the finale, we'll get that finale recap as well. And we'll also have Tilt 32 preview. It should not say recap. We'll be a Tilt 32 preview as we will start the next round up shortly. We'll be starting on Saturday. Happy first day of summer to those people out there. Looking forward to it. Well, G, this round, really interesting round. We've had some upsets, had a lot of chalk as well. It's been a hit or miss round. Your thoughts on what to expect here for the second round and some surprising first round match results as well?
Yeah, I mean some of the results definitely tough to read on. There were a few things that caught me a little off guard, but other things that were just kind of the way I think a lot of people were anticipating the way it would go. But interesting round, all things considered. I definitely do think there was a lesser impact on upsets compared to what we've seen in the past. We still had a few, but I definitely saw a little bit more chalk in terms of who made it out the first round this time around. Especially in the Diamond region. There, quick spoiler there. I mean, didn't really see many upsets there, but let's just jump into it right now because I think that's the best thing we could do at this point to break it all down.
All right, let's get to it. We'll begin with Mac Johnson. Who would he play? Obviously, it was Hockey versus Seth. We know Mac was already locked in to the second round. It was Hockey in seven. Really surprised about this one, G, because Seth really shouldn't even took this to seven. Hockey had all the numbers, even after the game, had quotedly saying, "I got a lot of work to do, mainly on ammo control." Happy for Hockey that he won, but for Seth to fight back like that, still put up a fight. Obviously, he's still pretty safe in any terms of relegate. 2 wins on the season, not a big deal there. He's going to be just on more of a house money mentality. T5. Your thoughts on Hockey win, G, but not the usual fashion where you really had to fight that one off for sure.
Yeah, Hockey's been had an interesting season because I mean he was one of the two people who got in as a replacement, but I think he's made the most out of it so far. Not necessarily a fantastic season per se, but he's gotten some wins here and there. So, he's looked pretty okay. Was able to pull out the win against Seth here. This was a pretty decent match, all things considered. But for Seth, got a feel for him. It sucks to come up close like that, but overall just a decent showing. And again, I don't think he's in any danger of relegation per se, because I mean, especially if you look at the standings here, we'll talk about relegation talk a little bit later down the line. But I mean, he has the most wins right now, or the two lost people. So I mean, even if for some reason, or two win people, if for some reason the relegation bubble moved to the 2 win line, which would be insane, he'll be fine by virtue of the game wins. So I'm not really too concerned about Seth Cole at the moment in terms of relegation. But obviously he wants to make the playoffs here, and he's not in a great spot to make Super League.
Now, Seth's going to have to do a lot of work. He needs to figure out really just everything. Not so much ammo control because we know he has that, but he just has to figure out the fade looks, and we'll see how that one goes. But we'll see what Seth will do. We'll see what Hockey does against Mac. That will be interesting to say the least. Probably one of the most improved players on ammo control versus a player still needs help with ammo control for sure. Well, gee, next one. Oh God, where do we? Actually, you take the lead. I have some things to say about this game. Go ahead.
Yeah, ultimately with this game, Gold kind of running into momentum, ALP sticking with the old Sharpies here and there, but I think the most bizarre thing about this is ALP actually had a lot of times where he had a good amount of ammo but could never really capitalize on it and get the wins. Gold was able to just kind of keep his head low and stay alive in some of these games and was able to get some games he probably shouldn't have won. But Gold goes on to win 4-2, and then after the fact, ALP decided to call it quits on the league, which is unfortunate, but it happens. He was just kind of not feeling it anymore, and this season hasn't really gone the way he was hoping. So, fortunately, ALP is going to be done for the season, and he is going to be done with the league for the foreseeable future, and he will. It's going to be another slot filled out in terms of the 8 relegation. So that's 5 of the 8 already. So that's going to be looking a bit bizarre as we get down there, but KT, I mean, any specific thoughts? I know you wanted to comment a little bit more on this.
I wish ALP the best, man. He was a player that maybe he wasn't the best player. Maybe he wasn't the most flashy player in terms of fades. And I know he used to have that +4 finish the last card look, but excluding that, he was more of a legend off the table, Clint style in a way.
Yeah.
Definitely more of that Clint Green. He was a fan favorite. I know Monkey's gonna miss him. A couple other people are, Nam as well. But people have the right to do what they feel is right, and I wish ALP the best. And he said maybe he'll come back one day. Maybe one day he never ruled it out. Maybe he'll come back, but don't expect him coming back anytime soon. As
Um.
he should. He should take his
Mhm.
time and you know do his thing. Take a little bit of time to decompress, and we'll see where he goes. As for Gold, just real quick to circulate to him. Congratulations to Gold. Needed that, especially when you're not really fortunate on ammo. He had one of the more brutal Final Four losses. And Game 10 has the power play and just did the same thing he did in Super League 23. Just to bounce back will be good, but we'll have a challenge next round for sure. Back to you.
I do want to throw one more thing for ALP here because I think he did. I thought one part of his post game interview for this one was interesting. Because he did mention um that there is definitely the feeling of high intensity here, which sometimes can get to people, and I think that was part of what he was feeling at the moment. So I mean, that's kind of just how the league runs sometimes, but I definitely think there is something we could discuss about in terms of some people going above and beyond. Some cases too much, but I mean, any comments on that specifically? Because I read that post game quote and that stuck out to me.
That the thing is, maybe in the server, yeah, sometimes it can get a little wild, but during the games, it's hard to read because I do all these games, right? Streaming or even a non-stream. I don't really think people go crazy with quotes or anything like that in gameplay. I think it's more just the strategies are different. Remember, he came from an environment where if you have a monster hand like that, you're not supposed to win. You're supposed to play eye candy and play tricks because he's in a usual group 4 or 5 man setting. Ubisoft Uno is 4 or 5 people, and you have to know how to hide your +4s for the right time. It's like Uno No Mercy, same thing. I think that's what he means more. I don't think the server's the problem personally. I know there are some things that we talk about in media departments and news posts, but mostly I think it's just the fact that you can't really eye candy it in a one-on-one game. If you +4 someone, +4, right? It doesn't really change the fact that it's a +4 for +4 eye. So I think what he's saying is more he wishes there was more alternatives. Maybe you'd be +4 and it goes to the next person. You can challenge. I don't know. It's an interesting comment. I didn't really look too deep into that. I think he's just more burnt out, which is, like I said, understandable at the same time. But maybe we'll talk about that. I don't know. One of the topics here towards the end of the show, the state of the league a little bit. Maybe we could do that. We'll see what we got. But regardless, yeah, it is interesting. It's an interesting concept for sure. Um, That's all I got, Jack. I gotta think that one more thing. You pulled a fast one on me. Hard to really. I didn't even see that part. I saw that part of the quote, but I couldn't really. I guess what's the word? Formulate
Yeah, I
something for
mean,
sure.
I get the specific wording was shame sometimes you guys take it too far and make this game not fun anymore. So I thought that would be an interesting discussion to open up on that here since um yeah, I mean definitely there's people who have different intensities with it. And at the end of the day, I mean, people do what they do that makes them enjoy it the most, but I just think that was an interesting comment on his departure.
Absolutely, looking forward to see what ALP will do in the future, but we'll see down the road. Next game. What is there to say about James? I mean, from where he was last year, pretty much checked out. What was he on the relegation line all year? He's staying
Mhm.
in D1, and more importantly, he just got a big. He's the first guy I think to get two quad two wins on the old twins over there, Andy and Logan. That's kind of crazy. Your first two wins is on two guys that are going in upwards direction. He's starting to go upwards. I think Logan just got bit. He got bit by James's ammo control. James improved the ammo control wholeheartedly, and I think for Logan, he kind of got caught off guard with that. Gee, and that's the problem. When someone can get hot and they have new things that are brought to the table, and you can't figure it out. Sometimes you get bit. I think that's where Logan got bit. What's your thoughts, G, on that? Because James, big win. Logan hurts himself in the Super League bubble combo.
Oh man, this was a big win for Ellison, all things considered, because this one throws him into the two-win category, and certainly he is looking much better now in terms of that discussion. Might be able to escape it, but yeah, really good showing from Ellison. Like what I've been seeing the last few tournaments from him. Is this gonna be the playing mythology just gonna win him a tournament? Probably not, but it's getting him through these early rounds, which is really gonna help him. So I'm curious to see how Ellison does against Golden round of 32. I don't think he has ever made it to the round of 16 before, so we'll see if he could break through this time. But some small and solid improvements from Ellison, and he's getting results for it. What should you like to see?
Absolutely. And that is the most important thing with that. Can he get the results going? If he can get some more wins here, or even just start to sniff the end of the year a Super League spot, top 25, he can break into that. Some players had this year. It's a good start. Well, not what you would expect here, G, from Charles Sanford. Charles Sanford is known to really run it up and get it going. Not the case here. He barely survived against Rogers, who put up a great fight. I'm happy that Charles won in the sense that he did allow Rogers to have his 100th game in the ceremony, but there was a little bit of concern here. I think Sanford's starting to get figured out. And he knows it too. He's going to have to step it up against his next opponent. Your thoughts on Sanford barely surviving? Because we know Sanford is one of those rock solid players, but this year he's had to scrap more than usual.
I mean, this is a game that just straight up came down to the card start here because I mean, this every single game was won on the homestand. And I mean, you could see that from the write up. First two card starts, Sanford goes high mid tier, and then the next two where Rogers has a choice, he goes way low down and wins those games. In two very opposite paces, one going quick under 2 minutes, and the other going nearly 17. But um, every single game was won in the homestand. And it was a bit of jumping around from the card starts, so. I ultimately think the homestand was what won Sanford this game here. Really close match, but was able to pull out the win in the end and moves on. But I mean, again, for Sanford, all these wins are going to be crucial because he needs these wins, especially if he's not going to be able to find many quality. Another deep run is going to be a big help for him if he can or he wants to be in that bubble conversation going into tournament 5. But being able to survive this one's good. That's all he really needs. He needs to be the one who is the winner. So he moves on, and for Rogers, it's a bit of a heartbreak, but I mean, he's showing potential of maybe finally getting that win outside of tournament 2.
Indeed, indeed, it's going to be interesting to say the least because this next match, he's not going to find a good win here because he was waiting for Ed, and well, Ed didn't win, but I'm going to give Ed a free pass because this was the one day we were having Discord issues, and this game was on time, and then Discord couldn't get notifications going. And we've seen, G, that's the one thing I've noticed in this league. You can't get it right on the dot, especially with these Discord issues or API issues. It affects your gameplay. It affected Ed, wasn't himself, and Brian gets his first win of the season. That's huge for Brian. He's known for 2 or 3 wins a season. Well, he got his first. He's not safe yet from any relegation titles, but he's starting to look better in his gameplay, which we did see Brian play really well against Yepes earlier in the year. He finally brought it out against Ed, which kills Ed, but it also doesn't hurt Ed as much because Logan also lost. Your thoughts on Brian winning and the little rise of good old Brian there?
I mean, that gave him the breakthrough for what he needed um to break that barrier because now with that we have the one wins no longer being safe in terms of the relegation bubble. We'll talk about that more later, but big win for Brian. I predicted Brian to get the win here. It was definitely not in the circumstances I was thinking, but he was able to thrive through the chaos and get the job done. Ziemba, unfortunately, a big hurdle, big roadblock for his season here. So he was hoping to be in the Super League hunt, but now he is going to fall a bit behind here, and he's going to have to put a little bit more work in the tournament 5 to try and put himself back into that top 16 most likely. But heartbreaker for Ziemba here, but a big win for Brian, as that could be a season-changing victory. And KT.
Oh, sorry about that, G. I said for him, I think it's about going into that match with House Money. Sorry, storms rolling. if you're Brian, you have nothing to lose. You're playing a guy that's played almost 300 career starts. What else do you have to lose? Go for it. Take your chances. And it's the old 9.99 special, Brian and Sanford. So we'll see how that one goes then. We'll preview that later. Well, this was one of the best games of the round. It was quick, it was fast, it was frantic, but it was poetry. Maybe not in motion, but in something. Maybe in a blitz format. But regardless, what a win for Nam. He needed this one. We talked about Nam. He's one of those players that thrives off of confidence, and sometimes you just got to get the right momentum. Well, he got the right momentum, but it was not easy. Had to fight tooth and nail, and ultimately it came down to a game 7 where he had the home start. We talked about this. If he could get up early against Cap, he'd be good. But they traded sides. Cap was winning more of those upper tier games, and Nam had more of the lower tier games. So there was more of a shift than what we expected. Nam wins, and G, your thoughts on Cap? Probably out of the top 25, not winning a game since March. That is incredible, to say the least.
I remember in the last episode we looked at this game and it's like loser. This one is season is probably done, all things considered. And for Captain, unfortunately, the low card starts bit him. Was able to get away with it in game 3 with the 6 card, but 2 5 card starts, which games that only lasted 34 and 29 seconds respectively, were what ended up doing him in. And I mean, we know that's the risk with the style he runs, and ultimately it came back to bite him once again. So a big heartbreaker for Captain. I know in his post game interview he said like I can't wait to go down to D2, but I'm pretty sure he has 3 wins, so that's not happening. But yeah, I mean you could sense the frustration, disappointment there from Captain, but for Nam, big momentum turn. Here he needed this win, and he'll be looking to hopefully carry that momentum into the round of 32 here, which coming up on a big match to turn the season around.
Yeah, and he's going to get that big match. Gee, it's pretty crazy. We're only going to talk about this. I'll say this one time. This is a trend. Not one single game had a sweep or 1-5, and there was only one game this entire round. And that's a testament to Monaco because, sure, Monaco lost. Okay, he's 0-4, but he was going through some excruciating circumstance off tape. We're not going to mention that on the air. Still wish him the best. But to put in a fight like that against Yepes, who was way above his shoulders for this season, at least with 8 wins now, for a 0-win guy, Eric might get his first win around the corner. We may have to wait for T5, but he definitely showed. For Yepes, sadly, there's not much to really say. It's a Q4 win. There's not much to really say in terms of resume. However, it's a big chance next round, considering you have a 3-win player in Nam and a guy who used to play a lot like him before he changed up his style back in March 2024. So your thoughts on this game, G, Monaco fighting and Yepes moving forward?
I mean, respect to Monaco, had a lot going on, still brought it to 6. Monaco's definitely shown improvement this season, but none of it's really translated into a series win, unfortunately. But Yepes, he kind of just had to walk in and take care of business here, which he did. But Monaco definitely gave a pretty good fight. I don't really have much to say on this besides that, but Yepes, again, looking to rack up those wins here. And then for Tournament 5, Monaco, hopefully in a more clear state of mind, can try to get that first career win.
Congratulations to Yepes. Good fight for Monaco. We'll go to the next region, which the clubs region, G, this game didn't see much of it, and even in the post game, I couldn't really get a read on it. Yoshi Bo, we had talked about Yoshi's composure being a thing. I said he would break through, maybe on the composure element, maybe would finally learn out those losses. Finally got the win, but once again, down 2-1, had a fight. Bowtie seemed to have the edge early, but then fell apart. This is concerned. I know Bowtie, no relegation issues, but for Super League aspirations, Bowtie needed a good T4. We know T4 and 5 is his home, and didn't happen here. Your thoughts on Bowtie's season, how he's going to bounce back next tournament? For Yoshi, similar to most of these 8-9s, massive opportunity ahead next round against Smith.
Yeah, this is a tough loss for Bowtie. He was definitely eyeing maybe making the Super League field, but this is definitely going to throw a wrench in those plans. I don't know. It's just I think Yoshi kind of just had a better grip of what he wanted to do in this one, and Bowtie really didn't have many responses. So, Yoshi was just able to find a way to get through, get a win that is a good momentum boosting win as he goes into a big opportunity match in the round of 32. But yeah, this is not great for Bowtie. He's going to need something cooking in Tournament 5 if he wants to possibly look to be in this top 16. But it's going to be interesting to follow him throughout these next few weeks.
Next match is we'll see. We'll wait for Yoshi versus Smith. This was a shocker. Peter Anjak, Game 6, has the winner on power play. and then uses it mid chain. I mean, how many times have we seen not just Peter, so many people use it mid chain? For a league veteran to not do that right is a little interesting. Drip, he just took advantage. I think he stole one here. Yeah, I'm not afraid to say it. He stole one. This should have been Peter's series. This should have been 4-2 Peter. If not, maybe 7. If he finds a way in 7. But to make a mistake like that, he just couldn't recover. And Drip, it's the one thing I always say about Drip, man. He can be down and out, but the one thing he will do is stay calm and composed in any situation. He stayed calm and composed. Didn't use the ammo crazy. Number efficient out. He number efficient. The number efficient aficionado in Peter. Congratulations to Drip. Big win for Peter. That's costly, G, because he was really starting to build a resume. What's he got to do to bounce back from this? And thoughts on Drip? Because this is a surprise, definitely, for sure.
I mean, that's a massive mistake for Onjak to make, especially with how long he's been in the league. It's not really something you expect out of someone with, 3 seasons of experience. Big mistake there, and that's, again, it's going to be costly. He's going to need something big in Tournament 5 here because he was on the right track to possibly throw himself back into contention, but this is going to be a massive roadblock in getting back to Super League. For Drip, I mean, it feels like all his wins so far this season have been ones he's stolen, but I think the biggest thing for Drip here to his advantage is the fact he was able to capitalize off of it. There's people who could just be down out and then just kind of throw their hands up in the air and be like, whatever, it's over anyways. But no, he stayed in it, stayed resilient, kept fighting through, and was able to get the win here. So even though I think he's really stolen all of his wins so far this season, I think this was definitely the most impressive so far. But I still need to see a little bit more out of Drip here. He's got a long way to go before he could be possibly in that Super League bubble, but yeah, good stuff to Drip for staying in it and getting the win. But Onjak, it's gonna be needs a massive bounce back in 25 because this is a massive detour for his hopes to make Super League.
I think he outplayed Art. No, that one he didn't steal because that was a game 7. That was like 90 minutes. That was a great game. That one, that was well fought. The other two, yeah, he stole the DJ game because he was getting those +4s. This one was just an absolute steal job. You know, sometimes that's what you gotta do. What's the old adage, G? Sometimes you gotta put yourself in position to win. It may not be the most opportune time, but it will eventually get to your way, and that's what happened. I won't say too much about this next game. Obviously, this was a tough situation, G, no matter what. Caesar still wishing to bet. He's getting better, but he's not 100%, of course. And for Steven, this is a tough one to talk about because he is the reigning D2 champion. It's not a good look. Obviously, he's going to get one more chance. I want to really just talk to you, G, on where we think Steven's head's at. I know he's got to graduate. I understand why he can't play. It's a legit excuse, but even if he would have played, you wonder what even if he would have played. Now that I know what was going on, how locked in he would have been. Not really locked in. So maybe this is for the better. Your thoughts on this? Because this is a tough one. I do believe he was a worthwhile champion, but it hasn't just shown this year, unfortunately. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, I just don't really know what's been going on with Steven. I mean, we saw last season in D2 he had at times some small mental errors, but I mean for this one it just feels like this entire season's been all over the place and a lot of it's been costing him. But I mean ultimately this DQ is going to set him further back because now he's going to have to win twice to make sure he's not in that bottom 12 there, although I think the bracket's going to be a little different. I mean, if he gets one win, I think he'd be in the upper bracket, so that could be slightly more advantageous, but yeah, I just don't know what's been happening with this season for Steven. I mean, besides Nightwalker, who just randomly decided to dip due to his own things going on outside the league. This has just been a really disappointing season from Steven. And for him to win the D2 championship and then have a season like this, I'm just a little surprised in general. I wasn't sure if he was going to be like in the Super League contention, but I was expecting him to be somewhere in the mid pack. But this is it's kind of fallen below expectations. And again, he's part of that group that still has not gotten a win so far. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what to say here. It's just been a really disappointing season.
Wish him the best. Hoping he can graduate. We'll see him back in July. But yeah, definitely a tough one for Cedar. Not much to say. We'll preview him more when we get to the next round. Well, Jay, I had said on the last podcast, this is it. If I said this personally, if already you can't win this game, then win. Because this was the perfect style match. Fast, speed, lightning, electricity. it was a combat battle, and that's what it was. And for Ghost, a costly mistake here too. I said it was game 3. He had a really good chance to, I think, put the nail in the coffin, but he made a fundamental error on speed, and he made a fundamental error on, well, ammo control. Just couldn't find the right ammo cards, and just gave Arya too much and too little pace, and it cost him ultimately the series. On hindsight, you got to clean this up, especially if you're a guy trying to make Super Bowl. That's costly because we've seen a lot of bubble guys miss out opportunities. Peter, Ghost, of course, Logan, and Ed, and Cap, of course. But your thoughts on Ghost missing out? Arya now a big opportunity because now she can prove this is her chance, especially with the fast-paced player for sure.
Yeah, that's a big win for Arya because she's kind of been down in the dumps so far this season. But to get a win over Ghost, who made Super League last season, it's going to be a big confidence booster for her going into this next round. So I thought she played really well. Saw some flashes of what we saw from her in the 2023 season, and yeah, I mean, was able to get the job done for Ghost. Unfortunately, just came up a little short there, and will hurt him a bit in terms of making it back to Super League. But we'll see how he goes. We know he's someone who likes those quick games, but this time it did not work out in his favor. But he'll have one more tournament to try and rebound to try and make this field. But it's going to be a bit of a tough battle here.
Well, this next game, not going to really say much. This was a disaster. Congratulations to Sting. He's now the 40th guy in the league to get 100 starts, but that's all. That's the extent to it, G. Unfortunately, my computer had issues and couldn't stream it. And then, even when we got the game going, Radin was playing at 4 a.m. And I want to say he improved. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but the circumstances were just not good for Radin. He thought the round had started the day they were going to play. So yeah, it was not Radin's round, not his tournament. We'll see what he can do come the final tour. For Sting, I think this is his opportunity coming up, G. I look at the schedule ahead. This is his chance. Now, we'll explain more because he had been kind of off it after the Ardor loss. Now, playing his form, seems to find a little bit more. 4 wins now. He starts to sneak up after some guys crumble. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really sure about the match. I think I predicted Radin from a bunch of nonsense happening, and I think nonsense did happen, but it was more on his end. So I mean, Stingray just kind of walked in, took care of business, got the win. I think it's gonna be a good bounce back win for Stingray. He goes into a opportunity match in the round of 32, but for Radin, I really don't know what to say about this one. We've seen some of his shenanigans before, and he's someone who's right straight in the middle of this relegation battle. So. We'll see how that evolves for him for tournament 5. It's going to be interesting because those game wins are going to be important. But Sting, good result here. He's looking to put himself back into the Super League hunt. A win in the next round will be big for him to do that. So we'll see if he could do that. But I do want to mention one more thing before we jump into Diamonds. I don't think we talked about the 3-14 game. I think we kind of glossed over that.
Oh, my fault, buddy. I'll get to that in a second. Let me just go call it. Let me look here. You said Diamonds?
No, in the this region of clubs, I don't think we talked about Albion M.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. Well, that's forgettable. But yeah, I'll talk about it. That was oh god, yeah, that was a meme show. I don't even know. That was just a bad night. There was too much going on, too much chaos. All I can really say is I don't know how Albion won that game. He was making fumbles after he was trying to bottle it again. He made it through, but I don't know. Not much to say here, John. I don't have much. It was a crack show off the table. Off the table was more fun than on the table. That's not usually a good sign. So congrats to Albion. I don't even know anymore to say to her. She's kind of all over the place. What do you got here? I don't have much. This was kind of forgetful night on that one.
Assuming M does not collect like all the states of mind going into tournament 5 becomes Super M, I am writing her as one of the people who is going to be relegated at this point because it's just kind of not really seeing much this season. I think the biggest thing that kept her afloat in last season was the 2 bizarre wins she got, but 0-4 at this point. Albion, just kind of navigating the insanity that M brought to the table, and yeah, at the end of the day, Albion just moves on, and then M it's another loss. So. Not really sure what M's going to do here going into Tournament 5, but again, assuming she does not become Super M by collecting all the states of mind, it's not looking good for her right now.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. That was forgettable, but once again, it happens. But yeah, realistically, I think for Abian, we'll get his preview. He's also got an interesting path ahead, I think, as well. A lot of interesting stuff in this region for sure. Well, we go into the only game, G. I mean, I cannot believe I'm saying only game to go 5 or less, and it was Cody Lamas. I mean, Cody Lamas showed up. You got to give him credit. He showed up. He put any distractions to the side and said, "I'm going to take what's mine." I said this was the one match that was favorable because he knows Clay. Clay is a guy that had played him from a distance in 2023. Remember, they had that whole T5 post debate in Super League who's going to get a 10th spot, and I still vouch for Cody because he deserved it that year. And it was about peak run versus consistency. But this game, G, Clay just. I'm going to go back to game 2, I really think it was. It just changed the whole outcome because he had a 10-card run to the finish. Didn't use it. And that really gave Cody enough momentum to just capitalize. And that's what happens when you try to save those. Not 10, it was an 8-card run. It was within 1 to 2 turns, but still. Try to go for that monster run and bit him. Cody weaseled, and after that, it was all Cody from there because he won 4 straight. Thoughts on Lamas winning? Happy to see him back in the old W categories. He also got his Panthers winning. Big congratulations to Cody's Panthers. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champs.
Good week for Lamas, all things considered. I got a little shade in the post game comment, which is fair enough, but I think for Lamas the biggest thing was we've seen how there's been some I guess times where he feels out of the game early on, but I mean there was a very good chance he could have done that in this one because he went down 1-0, but he kept his head up, kept himself locked in, and won 4 straight in that one, including taking advantage of some mistakes from Clay. So Lamas, really good showing from him. I thought that was the best game he's played all season, and I did mention to him after I saw the post game quote. I guess the next conversation is the comeback arc, and very good opportunity to do so against Monkey in this next round. But for Lamas, this could be a turnaround point for him in the season, and especially with what in my opinion was the biggest concern from his side of the coin, seemingly gone right now. He's looking to be in a good spot to possibly make a good run this tournament.
Lamas looks good and refined. Speaking of someone that I don't know, I did not see this game. Was told Jenna was up.
I did.
Oh wow. I don't know what happened here, man. Vapor has been on absolute crack, off and on the table. We'll more on that later. But he found a way to get the Speed Demon win because that was unbelievable. I don't know how he came back. I know he had some cards go his way, but the first 4 games he was nowhere, and all of a sudden he just found the gear and went. Thoughts on Vapor winning and another tough loss for Jen. It's been really her season, unfortunately.
I feel absolutely horrible for Jenna because I think, and even Vapor said, I think she got screwed in this one. She was in a good run of things, was getting some decent cards at the start, helped her give the advantage, but Vapor in like the last 3 games just got like monster hand after monster hand after monster hand. So Jenna was just kind of along for the ride there, and that really sucks because she's another person who's on that relegation cut line, but I don't think she's necessarily played bad this season, but she has just had nothing go her way, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, you're definitely sensing some of the frustration there from Jenna, but really, really unfortunate result. But for Vapor, I mean, like the stats don't lie. He has been escaping these round 1 losses for a while now, so the trend line wanted to stay alive, and he was able to take full advantage and get the win here. Because I mean, I mentioned this also, like you could get a monster hand, but you could also very easily screw it up. So Vapor did a great job not messing up the hand and did what he needed to do to get the win. So Vapor, another round of 64 win here. He helps his spot to make Super League in his final season. And again, keeping this consistency up is going to help, but he's also going to need to get some wins as well, including a big opportunity coming up right here.
Yeah, Vapor, unfortunately, the one thing I will say with him, resume is not good. And well, you need a good resume builder. How about this, G? The first top 25 we're going to go through right here. Acosta beats Allen. Did not see this game. However, unfortunately, it's just been Allen's story. He had that really good March run. I'm sure he lost to Ashley, but he took Ashley to the brink, and he had that, I'd say, exceptional win. I'd say for sure. Not exceptional. An exception win over, who was it? Kev, who was kind of checked out. But for Acosta, man, something new's happening here. If you notice, you're looking at this game didn't go over an hour. Wasn't in 6. A little bit speedier Acosta. This is his 4th win. It's career year no matter what he does rest of the year. Can Acosta make a deep run? Because I'm starting to sense he's starting to figure out that 3rd, 4th, higher upper gear. We know he loves the 1st or 3rd gear. low speed. But once we start getting to the upper gears, he knows how to play quicker, which is what a lot of people were concerned with. But he's now figured out some more upper gears. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This was not one I was expecting. But Acosta is able to keep that momentum going from the last tournament, that breakout tournament run, and so can actually be in a good spot here. I would not have picked Acosta to be someone in that Super League conversation coming into the season, but he is in here now, and he's got a great opportunity to boost his case even further. So, really been interested to see the rapid improvement from Acosta, all things considered, and he's definitely pulling up some new tricks in his gameplay. So been pretty surprised to see the turnaround for Acosta. He's been doing a great job, and then for Allen, it's just kind of not been a great season since March. He did get that win there, but he is definitely for the second season in a row. He is going into tournament 5 on the relegation discussion. Although this time he is currently above the cut line, so in a little bit better of a spot than he was last season, but still in that spot.
They make that miracle run. Of course, he had 0 wins. He's got 1. So who knows what he can do next tour? We know T5 is a couple other people I'm going to mention as well that are going to be in the hole. But we'll see. This one, Andy Camaro. This was crazy. This was like Vapor Jet, but the weird opposite thing happened. Camaro had everything. Games 1 through 4, everything. And in the last, he still had everything. But yet somehow Andy was patient enough and found a way. And another thing we talked about with Camaro, misplayed reverse chains, intentionally leaving it open at Uno. Too many mistakes, and it's been the story for him. Getting control and then just throwing it in the bin. So we saw with Brock 3 times he had Uno. The last game he played, he blew it. I love the guy, but man, you can't make mistakes on these type big player. Big win for Andy after that loss to Ellison. But similar to Trip, I think another California player stole one. I don't think Andy deserved to win this game, but you know what he did have? Patience. And when you have patience, you can make magic. Your thoughts on that for Andy's win? Camaro, once again, just bottling that one up.
Yeah, not a great result from Camaro, all things considered, but I think with the Andy win and Logan loss, they finally have different runs this season, so the dual linked seasons is finally coming to an end here. But yeah, I mean for Camaro, I mean it felt like he had enough to win this game and just did not capitalize. Andy was able to stay in it and hang on, and he found the opportunity to slide in, stoop in, steal the win, and did a great job keeping his head looking straight and just making sure he did what he needed to do to get the win. So really good showing from Andy. Camaro, another disappointing run, but again with that one win and a DQ win, he's actually okay in terms of the relegation discussion at the moment. But it's not been a great season for Camaro, all things considered.
Now we'll go to the next game here, G. And this one, I was not here. This was Father's Day night. Don't know where to really begin with this one. Lane made a lot of really weird errors. Zach was playing well, but didn't use a power play in the last game where he could have easily had won. Too many weird things with this one, really comment. I wasn't even trying to look back. Very confusing. I'll just say Lane needs this one because he needs this game against Danny. He's had a resume, sure, 7 wins. That looks great. Then you see he's got 6 wins that are in quad 4 and 1 in quad. He needs to keep going. This is a season similar to what we saw with Sanford last year, and to an extent you pass. Just too many quad 4 wins and quad 3 wins. Now quad 1-2s. There's only one way to do that. You better have a lot of damn wins, or get to 10 wins because that's the safe zone. Thoughts on Lane needing this win? Zach, good fight though. Compared to where he was after coming back from the tournament miss, definitely showing some promise.
Yeah, it's a good fight from Zach, but again, I think just the miss not using the power play ultimately cost him here. Lane had a bit of a bizarre game, was able to hang on, and really, again, for Lane at this point, it's not really how he's getting the job done. It's just whether he's getting the job done or not. And that was a case here where he does get the job done, even a very close and hectic game. But Lane needs to get those wins. Got another one here, has another one opportunity to get one in the bank against Andy, which would be a decent quality win though. So. In terms of a season with not a lot of quality wins, that could be an opportunity to change that a little bit. But yeah, bizarre game, but Lane's the one who hangs on, and for Zach, we'll talk about him later in topic 2.
Let's go over to the last game here, G. Goldie versus Leah. This one was Goldie early was just really flying. Goldie was flying early, doing everything right. Then Leah found a way to come back, using a little bit of that magic with the power play. Did a good job to get to 6, but then once we got to game 6, Goldie just had more in tank. And when you have more in tank and you had that 3-1, 3-2 lead, you can play with more house money. That's what Goldie needed. A lot of the times this season she's been down and just fighting from behind. This time got Leah in that compromised spot and capitalized for the win. Congratulations to Goldie, moves on to play you. Thoughts on her run? Leah, obviously, disastrous season. Maybe not so much for the
Nah, I
win
wouldn't say
sheet, but
disastrous season. Just things haven't really
no,
gone
no,
away
no,
since
no,
March.
no, not for her, but just the resume. It's not what she needed. Needed Allen, JT. I think her wins are Allen, JT, and R. It's been rough for that department. As far as her as a player, it's been good, but resume just been has been lacking. That's really more it.
Yeah, I mean, Leah had a good start in March, but it hasn't really been anywhere since. But I think for Leah, just getting those wins on the board was important for her. But hasn't really done much since. Goldie has been quiet, but been doing all right. A big opportunity in the round of 32 here to get a big quality win here. But I've liked what I've seen out of Goldie so far. Although she's not really in that Super League conversation right now. She's kind of like in that no man's land at the moment. But that'll be an interesting match. It's another time. This is the second time this season I'm playing someone who was in D2 last season, so it's kind of fun when you get to play the people you watched throughout the entirety of 2024. So looking forward to this matchup, and hopefully it should be a good one.
I will go over to the last region. In this last region, G, we started it off with probably the game of the round. We thought Background versus Tago. Christian Tago tried. He tried, but it just seemed Background had every answer. The light switching we talk about with Tago, it seemed to work for the first half of the game, but then Background made a weird mistake in game 5 and 6, and after that, it was just over. Couldn't really find anything else after that game 5 mistake from BC. Tago just really couldn't connect on those switches, and part of the reason why is he just got outclassed on him, and Background didn't mind feeding into it. Thoughts on Background getting a big win, but this is what Background's been doing all year. It's not been round one, 4 straight round one wins. It's been more round two, and Tago, I still have faith because he is a defending T5 winner. He could find something, but definitely a shocker to be this low this late in the year.
I mean, background. We talked about Vapor with the consistency in round one. Background has been Mr. Consistent in this first round here. I mean, he has made it through this round 64 um, uh, without any hiccups here. I mean, he was up 3-0 at one point, so he was just kind of a bit on cruise control towards the end to just get that last game win. But background, I think it's been a pretty solid season, but I know he wants to try to make Super League, which right now he's not really there. He's like in that 30th range at the moment. So I think making it out of the round 32 will be big, especially with a huge opportunity here against Nick. So if he could get that win, he could definitely put himself into the Super League conversation going into Tournament 5, especially with the consistency he's built up so far. He just needs to find that big burst to have that consistency pay off, because making it to round 32 every time but not making it out of the round 32 isn't going to make you win. But if you have that one run where you like get a big thing going, and then you have that consistency as well, that can help you big time. So he has the groundwork for getting a good resume based off consistency with a big burst run, but he needs to find that burst run first.
All right, we'll see the burst run, see how that goes moving forward. But we'll go over to definitely how the story of the year, G. JT had everything going for him this series. Game 6 was about to win. It's a pure power plays and defense. Gets top 4+ stack, and the rest is history. He just couldn't get anything going up. That's a crazy way to. We've not seen losses like that ever. I feel for the guy. You know, he was a Super League runner-up. It's barring at this rate a tournament win or a ridiculous final finale push. I don't think we're gonna have anybody from the finale. Well, that's not. Well, we don't have Ashley. That means the top two in Super League probably won't make it back to Super League, which is insane. One obviously for real. This one just unfortunate luck. Where do you begin with this one? Because JT, this is a shot. I don't even know what to say. This is unbelievable, to say the least.
I think the biggest thing for this one is it's kind of similar to Jenna, where it just seems like nothing has really gone his way. And unfortunately, this is another case here where he just lost from very unlucky circumstances. Had it running, but again, we talked about it, the power play. When you use it, sometimes it can be a game changer, and we saw it be a game changer for Tapir, who was able to survive and take the win under his nose. But again, we gotta talk about this also. There could be a curse with finishing up runner up in Super League, because that's the second season in a row we have the runner up struggling mightily in the following season. So I mean, for Turner, you hope he gets at least one win going into Tournament 5. But I mean, this is just a season to forget here, especially after coming off such a high in 2024.
Yeah, it's going to be something for JT. He's going to have to find some magic because I don't see the magic right now. Well, speaking of someone that needed to break a long losing streak, DJ Curtis got it done. For Sean Art, he just got to stop playing the first. It's the second time this season he's played the first opening game in a round. He hasn't won. So Art's just got to stop playing game one of the entire tournament. But for DJ, he hadn't been nowhere all season, G. And to get this win, especially against the guy that looks really good in T3, that's a big confidence booster for him. He could do something. Still a long way to go for him in relegation talks because he still has to get some more, but at least a good start here overall.
I mean, Curtis got his first win in the season finally, and he finally broke that really, really long streak of just not showing anything dating back to the start of Super League. So for him to get this win, for him to jump, not necessarily out of the bottom 12 yet, but I mean he's in a great spot to do so. That's going to be a big momentum shift for him, and he'll be hoping to take full advantage, capitalize. With this momentum and the opportunity to be able to try and get some game wins to help him out, especially if he can't find another series win. But I mean, he has a great opportunity to get another series win here against a peer. For Ard, I mean, he had a good run tournament 3, but unfortunately, it's just this opening round of the season has just not been his friend so far, and I think this is going to be another season where he's kind of stuck in the mid pack, and unless he has a big run in tournament 5, it's just not looking great for him right now.
No, Ard, but then again, Ard, we had relegation concern. He got out of that talk. He'll be back with us next year.
Yeah, now he's
Can't
just
really
kind of
complain.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, he's in no man's land, and for him, it's just about maybe finding a win or two just to salvage a 500 season. This game was this was a disaster. This was a disaster. Retro still can't call Uno. William Brock won 2 out of his 4 games, G, on +4 ALP style finishes. Ah, I don't even know. Congrats to Brock, but Retro, so many times Brock was at Uno, no call out. Just where has his head been since March? Because he had that Lamas win, and he's forgot it ever since. He's binned it since Chomix came in March. Your thoughts on Retro? Because he's out to lunch. Brock, we've seen this movie from Brock. T4-5, what does he do? He gets hot, and well, we don't know his opponent, which we'll talk about in a second. But if he can get hot at the right time, he could do the same thing he did last year and have 4 or 5 wins, enter in T5, and William Brock back in the saddle. That's just how Brock does.
I mean, for Retro, it's just kind of been a disaster, all things considered. He did get the win in March against Lamas to open up the season, but again, it's just been nowhere since. But I mean, again, it's just kind of these costly mistakes that are really biting him, and not when he needs, especially when he's another person in that relegation bubble at the moment. But Brock took full advantage, did a bit of trolling as well with the +4 finishes, and I mean, again, you said it. If he can find that momentum similar to what he did last season, to go on a late season push, he could sneak into this field. But he's gonna need to. I think he needs to at least get some wins in the bank here for this tournament to put himself in a better spot for tournament 5. Because I don't know if he's gonna be able to go on a big run to the finale like he did last season. Um, did I mute myself? Oh. Okay, so unfortunately my Discord crashed, which I just realized. But I'm going to reboot this. Alright. Okay, so my Discord crashed, so that's fun. But I got my points in for what's it called? The retro situation, but yeah.
You got me, G?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. We got to redo that, or are we good?
Nah, we're good. It caught mine. It's just my Discord crashed, so your side of the things is I think it caught I think you handed it off to me and then my Discord crashed, so I think we're fine, but
Okay. All right, no problem. Yeah, because ironically my screen went black, so that's probably on my phone now. Regardless, though, as I said, not really sure what to expect from Retro rest of the season. It's just been a nightmare, to put it lightly. Anyway, last game here before we get to the actual last game, because this game's still ongoing. Toasty Dark got suspended. This was a weird one. No strikes were given out. Toasty got about 100 Discord calls, and not one of them went to his notification department, which is not a surprise. We've had issues with Discord. They got the game resumed. Dark was up 2-0. Now Toasty's up 3-2. Really can't comment on this because it's not finished. It's going to finish at 9 tonight. I say for Dark, it's a good showing for sure. Really good showing after what happened in T3 not playing and being able to run it. So we'll see how it goes. Toaster guy kind of needs the win for Super League stuff. Dark just playing spoiler. Needs 2 wins anyway for relegation. We'll see how it goes moving forward. So really won't comment on that until we get an answer. So we'll leave that one blank.
Yeah.
The last game of the round G. Unfortunately, this was the game that delayed the D2 championship. It was Chamic Lara. Great game. Fantastic. This was probably the game of the round. It was unbelievable. Both players were fighting tooth and nail. And another guy bites the dust. We talked about Chamic. What did he need? A win? Well, he didn't get the win. And for Lara, kind of on house money with the playoffs, nothing really to do in no man's land. What did Lara do? House money, got the win. Thoughts on Lara win, Jay? I think that was one of his best performances of the year, 100%.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good showing from Lara, and unfortunately the slide continues for Chomik here. Just cannot really find anything at this point, and his hopes to make it back to Super League are slowly fading away. For Lara, really good showing here, and has a great opportunity to get another massive win here in the round 32 against yourself. If they could get that win there, they're really in the contention to be in that top 16. Because I think the biggest thing for them was they had that good run in tournament 2, but didn't really have any of the massive quality wins. But a win here against yourself would be big for Lara in their hopes to make Super League. So we'll see how that one goes. But I thought it was a really good showing for Lara. And then I think for Chomik, I think the hope is slowly fading away to make it back to Super League.
All right, that's gonna do it, Jay. That's it for the. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for the recap. Like I said, we'll catch you guys up next episode on what happened with Toasty Dargan and whoever Brock will play. We're still waiting on that one. No idea when the actual game will play between Brock and whoever. We still have to finalize it. Everything else is finalized. All right, G, it's all you now. Relegation talk. What do we got? Hit me with it.
All right. Just need to make sure I have the mark for this here. But yeah. Okay. So relegation talk here. We'll really only talk about the 1-win people right now. I don't think 2-win is going to be involved, but you never know, I guess. But yeah, 45th on up has 2 wins, which I think is a little bit more than last season, but 46 on down is 1 or 0 wins. I guess we open up with Camaro here, who has that 1 DQ win, which kind of propels him up right now. I think that's going to be enough to keep him alive, but even with a lackluster season, it's sometimes getting that win is crucial, and at the end of the day, that DQ win does help him, no matter what happens the rest of the season. But, I mean, thoughts on Camaro in this season, it's just kind of been whatever. I think he was on the lower end of expectations for the rookies, but it's just kind of been a very nonsensical season because I think he has a strike also.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's one of 2 players with this. There's only 2 players with it, and unfortunately, he's 1 2. And doesn't have 2 of them. He only got 1, but he's been close to 2 multiple times. Things have bailed him out. I don't know. I need to see a complete cleanup. He needs to clean up a lot of mistakes. And if he can clean up those small mistakes, maybe I give him a chance for the 3rd win of the season. But he got so lucky that got DQ'd. If it wasn't for that, he'd be more in danger. For now, I won't say any danger because he does have 2 wins. Technically, he should be fine.
Yeah, we'll jump to the next one here. Top of the list for the game winners right now for the 1 wins. Rogers, I mean, had a good showing in tournament 4 here, but the problem is he's a tournament 2 merchant. So, especially if he cannot find that second tournament win in tournament 5, it's gonna have to rely on the game wins here. But do you think Rogers is in a decent spot right now, especially since he can just get the game wins to keep himself afloat?
He can get another win. He really did say he's playing people. He took you 6 games. He took Sam for 7. He's been taking people really to Clay 7. He's taking people deep, and eventually that's going to crack over to a win. It's almost like the Cody Lama situation. Take you deep or pack as well. Something's going to crack. I think he can just get an outright game win. We saw last year in T5 when the bot was fresh. I mean, he should have beat Caesar, which was, at the time, being Caesar last year was unfathomable. So if he can do that again, that'd be mega. I think he can just win one straight out. I don't even think he's got to worry about game win. But because he's up there, he should be fine for sure.
All right, jump down to the next one. Allen. Allen is all over the place. There is actually a blanket of people with 12 wins here, but in this next one, we'll kind of run through them as we go. But Allen currently is the top based off game win percentage and also average finish. But I mean, thoughts on Allen? He's back in this spot once again. He's in a better spot than he was last season. But yeah, I mean, ever since March, it's really just kind of been nothing for Allen, all things considered, and he's kind of been all over the place right now.
I think Allen might be the one guy I say is still fine because we know what he can do under pressure. All his career he's been under pressure. He got 4 wins last year under pressure. Now he was from zero. Now he's got at least a win. He does another Final Four or even a finale. He's back in the hunt for Super League. That's just how parity is. But it's weird. He's a pressure player. I've known him for years. Caesar and I have known him forever. I think he's going to perform well under pressure. This is the chance to do it. I think T5 will be his home, but we're going to have to wait a month to figure that out because that's not going to happen until July. It's just been weird. I don't know. I think for him, it's going to have to be if he doesn't get anything T5, and even if he just gets 1 win, just get your win, and we'll see you next year. That's kind of your mindset now, G. At this rate, Super League is not a thought anymore. It's just about go out there and have one shot, one opportunity. That's what T5 is known for sure.
Yeah, all right, we'll jump into the next one. I think this is the people who really start to be in danger. Allen, I mean, still would be technically in that group, but I mean, he does have the game win percentage to his advantage. But we start with the last four in right now. Retro. We talked about him in the Tilt 64 recap. Just too many mistakes at the moment, and he's in this spot, 12-17 on the game record right now. Ahead of Radin based off average finish at the moment. But I mean, your thoughts on Retro?
I'm selling Retro, but the thing I will say, he does average two game wins per series. And, 14 wins. We saw this with Grimm last year. That was enough to get in. I think Acosta only had 12. So realistically, he's probably safe if he can get two more just regular game with barring some crazy guys from the back. He's probably one of the last guys in because that's, what is that, 49? That's a lot of people got to jump on. We know Steven, unfortunately, needs 2 wins. Dark needs 2 wins. JT at this rate, with how many game wins he has, probably going to need a second one with his situation. He might be the last one. I feel a little bit remotely more safe. The problem for him is for gameplay. It's just not it. It's too sporadic. It's way too out of control is the way we roll. That's going to cost you. If he does get a win, God bless him, but I think he can only get 2 regular game wins and pray from there. That's my thoughts.
I think the biggest thing for these last four, or I guess these last three here, is to avoid a sweep. Because I think a sweep would put you in a really bad spot. Because now you're gonna have to wait and see on the remaining results. We'll jump to the next one here. I mentioned before, Radin. Radin was talked a lot about being in this spot last season. Was able to kind of weasel his way out and get a few wins here and there to get it out. But unfortunately, this season hasn't quite been the same. He did get a win against Yoshi early on, but hasn't seen much since then. He sits 50th at the moment with 12 wins. Your thoughts on Radin?
Radin he's probably the most uncomfortable guy because you look at we still have Brian and DJ that are still in this tournament. That's the problem with those, and Dark as well, which we don't know about the result of that, but we think if that one goes right, Toasty gets it done, that shouldn't be an issue. But we gotta think Brian and DJ are still left. He's the first guy I'm concerned about because yeah, sure he's got 12 wins, but he's losing tiebreakers, and that's the thing. It's all about tiebreakers with this. His average wins are about 2, though. He's in a similar spot to Retro. He's going to have to hope that Retro gets 2, and he can find a way to take it 7, if not win the series. Nip and tuck with him. I'm not sure. I would say this is probably when I start to get lower confidence of the guy, especially with DJ and Brian still in, for sure.
All right. Brian and DJ are still in, so they're technically at the bottom right now. But if we're ordering this based off the results, so let's say hypothetically for some reason they DQ'd out of the next round and then get that fourth loss. Hypothetically, 51st on the grid at the moment is going to be Brian. But he got that win in the first round, goes into the round 32. If he can get another win, he's in a good spot. But I mean, your thoughts on Brian here? He did get some momentum on his side though, but he's gonna have a tough challenge against who was it? Sanford in this next round. So I mean, if he beats Sanford, he's probably gonna be safe. But if not, it's gonna be a fight in tournament 5.
Well, Brian's known for 2 wins. I'd rather be in Brian DJ position no more than Jen and Zach because at least you got another round to go. Jen and Zach are just praying. But for Brian, yeah, because of the matchup ahead, I don't know. That's probably the match you wouldn't want to get. We know what Sanford can do, especially on opponents who tend to make chaotic mistakes. He's usually crisp and clear. However, the one caveat, the devil's advocate, Brian does have 100 games coming up. It's maybe a little bit more of a motivator. We'll see. As for DJ, I like where he's at, G. I believe it or not, because he's getting a guy that kind of stole one. Tapir stole one against JT. And DJ was a Super League player. Let's not forget last year. He did make Super League. And I think we have a little more data to back it up. He is a player and knows how to play. It's a pure gambling style, similar to what he knows how to play against guys like Ard. We would have loved to see Tapir versus Ard or even JT versus Ard again. I think for DJ, get this win. Even if it's not, you get the full 4 wins, you get 3 even, you take this to 7. You're really doing good the next tournament. I like where DJ's at more than Brian, only because DJ's got a little bit more of an easier opponent. Sanford is just he's a rock solid guy. If you start making mistakes, he's going to punish you. And that's a problem with Brian. He's got the wrong guy. So I'm going to say out of those two, DJ's in the best spot. The rest you can talk about because a lot of them
All
are
right.
just desperate mode.
DJ will be 53rd right now. He is currently at 9-14. 52nd currently is Jenna at 10-18. However, she's done for this tournament with the loss. I mean, it's been a brutal season for Jenna. Just really some misfortune here and there. Had a good start to the season, similar to some of these other people, but just nothing's really gone right since then. I mean, your thoughts on Jenna? I feel like she hasn't necessarily played bad per se, but it's just nothing's really gone right.
No, she unfortunate luck against Vapor. Really couldn't get anything going against Nuff. The only time she looked kind of bad was against Nick. I don't know what happened there, but that was way back in March. It just hasn't been it. I talked to her a little bit, and she's just kind of going. It was just sad. But at the end of the day, you can only do so much before you start losing it a little bit in the control. And the problem is, if you go, let's say you go 6, she's averaging about 2 games. If you go 6 the next tournament, it's only 12, and you have to hope that Retro and them get swept. It's all you probably got to win, especially with D. I think for her and Zach, I'm going to kind of combine. You got to win now, Zach. There's some other rumors going behind the scenes with him, but we don't know what his future is like. But as far as Jenna, it's going to have to really be something special in T5. And I think it starts with the mindset. You got to check back in. Because if you can't check back in, someone's going to find a way. And more than just DJ, but you got then JT might find one. And you can never count out a guy like Steven to find a win or Dark. So I think it's going to have to be a win. I think it's the first person. Same with that must win T5. Just keep the hopes alive for sure.
All right, Jenna currently sitting on the hot seat at the moment here with 2 people still in with their first win from the season. I mean 54th is 55th is no, I'm lying. 54th is Zach right now because he had that tournament miss. I mean he's gonna need another win to put himself into the top 52. I mean your thoughts on Zach here? It's really just gonna be focused on getting the series win for Zach at this point because it's that or he's going to be in that bottom 12. Although I will say he's in a decent spot to be in the upper half of the bottom 12, which could help him in terms of the relegation tournament if he has to go through it.
Yeah, Zach, like I said, it's more just going through the motions, see if he can get a win. He's playing people tough. He had that. Unfortunately, it's the second year in a row for Brad. He just can't believe it. He had that brutal loss to M, which killed his right now. This year, a brutal loss to Zach. It's just not aging well. So Brad has something to do with this too, but in a weird, unique way. Regardless, though, for Zach, he's been playing people well. He's probably gonna have to get the win. Similar to Jen, needs to find a way to get a win. Nothing really else to say there.
Yeah, I think I will mention this also. Technically, we've had 5 dropouts, so there's 5 confirmed slots. If we do get a 6, there could be a possibility where the relegation tournament ends up being 55th, 56th, 57th, and 58th. So 53rd, 54th, maybe get that bypass, which would help Zach. But again, that's not necessarily confirmed, and we don't see anyone dropping out at the moment. So going into the assumption that it's going to be 53rd, 59th, depending on the result of that, or if people just want to go down. But we'll jump into the 0-win people now, top of the board, and this is solely based off average finish. We have 3 people who are 7-16 in the game record. We're going to start with the biggest shocker here, Jesse Turner. Just nothing has gone right all season, and he currently sits at the bottom. Going to need a game win or series win to get himself out potentially. Any thoughts on JT?
Terrible. I don't even want to talk about it, really. It's just to see a legend that low, a guy that's, I mean, he's been such a asset to this league, man. He streams games. He helped out a lot. you hate to see it, but at the same time, it's the cruel sport. That's the cruel reality of sports sometimes. I wish the guy the best. There's a chance he may be able to get a break in T5 with the way the entry list is. We lost a couple people. I don't think he'll be the worst seed or anything. But if he can't get it done, then this is. I think he's the one guy I still trust in a relegation tournament. He's got the EXP. It would just be devastating to even think about losing him at this rate, unless due to the new clause, unless he can win, I believe 3 games. I think he will lose his legend status, which sucks because we're going to lose 2 no matter what. We lost Ashley, and if he doesn't break out, JT's probably next. And oh my God, Tago's in there. Oh my God, and even
Tago's the next legend. He's 41st on the grid right now, so he's probably not in relegation. But I mean, it's not a good season for Tago either.
No, but you got to have 3 or more to stay in the legend class, or just makes it really. Yeah, realistically, yeah, no, we have a lot of people. Legends class is going to look completely different next year. But regardless, I think for JT, you got to find a way. I'm just going to run through these people. You already documented. Was it M next? Is that
The last 4 would be M, Monaco, Steven, Dark Green. I mean, if you want to start with M.
Yeah, that's tough to talk about too, because M is another player all over the place. Obviously, I just don't know. I think M is a player that's there for the fun, not here for a long time, but a good time. It's kind of been her mindset. I'm with you. I'd be shocked if she finds a win. I'm not seeing much.
She could be in the top half though. She's 56 right now, so she'd be upper tier. She'd be upper side of the bracket at the moment.
I do trust her in a relegation tournament, but that's about it. For Steven, man, I don't know. Now he needs 2 wins. I don't see him getting 2 wins. I'd be shocked. One I could see, but 2 is just he needed to play this tournament. He had his opportunity against Caesar, who was kind of a wounded duck. It didn't happen. And now with Caesar not around anymore to play, and you're let's call it like it is, G. He's going to be the worst seed entering T5 because he didn't play, and everyone else went 6 or 7, or Clay went 5, but unfortunately he's not dropping that low. Well, fortunately, unfortunately for him. So Steven's going to have to play some 2 seed, and that's just, I don't see it. So, uphill battle. Eric, Eric's funny because he knows how to win relegation tournament games. He did beat Aiden Smith 4-0. Weirdly enough, Eric is a guy that could do it, and he's played better than it looks. He's probably one of those 0-4 that's played better. It's almost like JT in a sense where nothing's gone right, but he's played better than the record shows. I could see something going him. No comment on Dart, because if he beats Toasty, this whole conversation is different. Because if he beats Toasty, then he's going to have an opportunity to really set himself up well. I think it's a winnable game against Brock. If he doesn't win, then I don't have an answer to that one. If he doesn't beat Brock, or he doesn't beat Toasty, then I don't see him finding 2 wins, maybe. Right, it has to be 2. Well,
yeah.
You know what? The one thing I will say, though, if he can take it 7, though, he's going to move up in seed line. And Dark is a T5 merchant, so I still can't rule him out. He could be the last guy I could see get 2 wins, but he needs to get this comeback tonight. If he can get this comeback tonight, then we're starting to cook with some oil and gas. But he needs to get it tonight, and if he can't, then unfortunately it's going to be a case of just wait and see. And, when you're waiting and seeing, these things could sometimes turn haywire. So take care of business tonight, then resumption, and we'll go from there. See what Dark will do. And is that the last person? That's it.
That would be the last one, yeah, because we went over Steven. But yeah, I mean, if Dark wins tonight, he will jump up to 55th. So that would put him in the upper tier right now. But he's gonna need another game win to move out, because if he does it, the highest he could go is 54th.
All right, that'll be something to watch. I think moving forward, especially with what happens tonight for sure. But we'll move on to the next topic, which I believe is D2 Chip.
Yes, it would be D2 Chip. But yeah, we are about an hour into this show here. But let's break it down here. Got our by the time this comes out, we'll have our second D2 championship reveal. So that'll be our new top 25. We talked about the bubble earlier. We have a big bubble here in this one, but I'm gonna run through the top here, and we're going to start with number one. And spoiler, this is who ended up winning Meteorological May. It was a really great series. Myhale got up early, 3-0. But Bob Ross slowly, which actually no, Bob Ross got up 1-0, but then Myhale ran four straight for a 4-1. Bob Ross had some distractions during the game, but distractions went away by game five. Myhill used an early power play to go up 4-1, but Bob Ross slowly but surely reeled his way back into it, forced a game 9 situation, but in the end, Myhill was able to survive, hang on, get some redemption, wins the tournament, and is now going to be locked into the D2 championship. And with that, also he gets the number one spot for the next D2 championship reveal. So he's currently projected as the number one seed of the tournament. I mean, KT, any thoughts on Myhill's run in Meteorological May and where he sits right now? Only one with 9 wins, also.
Well, he's pretty much safe. I mean, I don't unless you, and I don't even think if you lose this round one with his resume, that'd be a very hard resume to kick out. He would need some catastrophic failure, get swept, and then so many guys win from behind. I think he's pretty much the one guy I would lock into the top four right here. It would take him because remember, there's just no quads. There's only strength of wins. There's not enough metrics to really move around compared to, let's say, a top division. Because of that, I think he's still a top guy, and he got the win, the TW, and I think the momentum's good. He's got some good head-to-head tiebreakers too. Bob Ross, of course, the big one. Cody Smart, he's got some good tiebreakers too. So if they falter behind and he falters, well, it just neutrals out. So yeah, I think I like where Mahel's at. He should be ready to rock and roll no matter what happens next tournament for sure.
Yeah, he jumps up 11 spots from the last reveal. Then someone who was the only person who retained the top tier at the moment from the last reveal to this one, who moves up one spot. Luke had a good rebound tournament. A little bit all over the place, but does have that tournament victory that helps him with the resume. But I mean, any thoughts on Luke here with the rebound? But what does he need to do in tournament 4? Because I think he is a little less safe than Myhill.
Now, Luke, if he wants to be in the top four, especially if on a promotion, he's gonna need to do something magical. And I think for him, it's got to go. You got to go back to the. If you're Luke, go back to the basics. What was working in T1 was working. I think the problem is TT. I understand, but good compliment. It was a good T3. You get 2 wins. You kind of feel it out. Now you got to really find out who you're made of, and this is playoff time. This is a good test for Luke, especially since he's a player that sometimes can be hit or miss. So I'm going to go. Luke probably got to win one game. I think he's got to get to the second round. I think that's all you need because you have the championship belt. Definitely got to win a first round game and make a good show in the second round because you can't afford to lose round one. Then it's going to be back and forth for sure.
Yeah, he is the only one of this group who is playing in that first round also because Myhill and these other 2 players are getting buys. 61 player fields to 3 buy island players. I'll read them off right here. Jumping up 7 spots and 4 spots respectively. Number 3 Red, number 4 Cyan, both made the final 4. Red has the advantage of having the head-to-head over Myhill that Cyan does not, but your thoughts on both these players? I'm going to throw them in a batch here. They had really good tournaments, best tournaments of the season thus far, and they find themselves in the top 4, but definitely not safe to keep that top 4 spot. They're going to need to have another good run here, all to consider they want to stay in there.
Yeah, they're not, and I don't know, man. Cody and Red are. I don't know. To me, they're on the bubble of getting that top 4, and I don't think there's. They almost have to consider, especially if Luke and Miguel can get to round 3. Even they might even have to think about Sweet 16 because they're losing tiebreakers. Ami's behind. There's a couple other people that are behind. It can be dangerous. They're losing a little bit of what they may have wanted. So because of that, I think they're going to have to think about S16. They're on buys, right? I think Cody is, and that's a killer. When you're on a buy, you get that automatic free pass. So your round 1 is round 2. You must think S16 because you can't just, run on a buy. So I think it's going to have to be S16 for both of them. And the problem I have with both of them right now, while they're very consistent, we've never seen them up here. Right. You look at top 4. Luke, we kind of saw last year with the LCQ. Mihail a little bit with the LCQ. We saw them in a championship spot going for it. We have no data on either player here. Red's a rookie, and Cody had a hellacious season. Don't have data on what it's like in a championship environment for both. Because of that, it's a wait and see, and we'll have to play it by ear.
All right, that's the top tier, and then we're jumping into the second tier of looking good, and this is a really interesting one because there's only two players in this tier. Former number one Ridley, who drops down 4 spots, and then Ami, who jumps up 5 spots. Both with solid tournaments. Ridley with a bit of a bizarre tournament. They made the regional finals, but only played 2 games in that span. Had a bye in the round of 64. Won the round of 32 match, had a DQ in the round of 16, and then lost in the round of 8 in a not a great game, all things considered, but from their end. But I mean, still doing enough to stay afloat here, but they do lose the top 4 spot right now. They're going to have to fight their way back into it if they want that auto promotion. And then Ami, with another good tournament, backed up his Final Four run with the regional finals appearance in Meteorological May. He's also in the hunt to maybe be in that top 4. Your thoughts on both those players?
I don't know. The thing I have with both when you're in this tier two, 'cause I'm looking at this right now, there's so many people are just kind of in no man's land for the top four. They have a way to put the pressure on, but at the same time, you look at Ridley and Ami's season. I want to say Ami has a tiebreaker over Cody. I have to remember the tiebreakers. I know
Ami has
Ami
the
beat
head-to-head over Cody Smart, so if Ami
right.
keeps moving up, that could be trouble for Zion.
Yeah, I think Cody's more in danger than Red because it's just tiebreakers and Ami just had to think about, okay, I'm playing round one, get the win there, get another win. Cody falters, and I'm in the great spot. So I think I like his position. Really has a DQ win, if I'm not mistaken.
Really
That
does have it.
doesn't
Yes.
really has a small impact, but we talked about with everybody almost having a DQ win or some point down there. It's a little hard to read. Because of that, in my opinion, I like where Ami's at. You can play a little more defensive. You know you have that tiebreaker, and all it's going to take is now. Does really have an important tiebreaker in the top four, or no?
Ridley has some good wins at the moment, but in
No
terms
tiebreaker.
of tiebreaker, I mean, she has wins over, or he has wins
That's a guy, by
over.
the way.
Yeah, yeah. I always look at their profile picture and for some reason default to that, but no, Ridley is a guy. My mistake. My
Yeah, it's
apologies. But
classic.
for Ridley, I mean, the biggest thing they have right now is they have a win over Geo, which is in this bubble tier. They have actually have a few bubble wins,
Okay.
all things considered. They have I think the thing also is they have a lot of good consistent wins, like people that are in the top 25, but like on the lower tier, like Marcus and Ninja Jacks. So, I mean, it's consistent wins that are definitely of quality, but they don't have that big, massive pop out win besides Geo, which Geo falls 8. We'll get to him in a second. That helps him stand out a bit, but I think Ridley's in that spot where they could just rack up the wins. They're in a good spot.
Okay. I think it's more. I'd rather be an Ami's because you have a tiebreaker and direct. Gio's behind, really. So you falter there, and Gio comes in there and swoops. Not good look. So, yeah, I'd rather be an Ami spot. Really, he's going to have to put the pressure on. It's going to have to be a deep run for a top four. But regardless, even if you don't make it, just to lock in, take a little. You're going to get some time off, right? We talk about this. Top four is almost, in a sense, well, a little bit of a double buy. Not really, but a little bit of a bigger buy. You fifth through 10th, you got some time off regardless because there is an LCQ that has to happen. So, regardless, though, I think I'd rather be an Ivy spot, but really not a bad season at all. That's a good season, especially where you probably had 1 or 2 wins on the aspirations. To get that many, 7, 8 wins, it's a good season, especially in this stat field, especially in the top 10 for sure.
All right, let's go into the most interesting part of this list right now, which is the bubble. This is a big, big bubble here. Number 7, Bob Ross, who is one of the new players here. He was not ranked last time, but he jumps up all the way to 7 after his great run. Number 8, Geo. Number 9, J Money, who technically is not on the bubble, but he's fighting more or less for seeding. But he's in with a tournament 2 victory. Number 10, White Spider. Number 11, Taco. Number 12, Joao. And number 13, Mark. This is the big conversation going into this tournament. This is a blanket of players who need a good run to make sure they get ahead of each other. Your thoughts on this general group here? Because everyone in this group, I would say, is not safe. I think you could make the argument for the people in the first 2 tiers that they can maybe have a slight hiccup and maybe depend on some results to stay afloat. But for these players, I would say you need to make sure you have a good tournament because I think a falter here could put them into the LCQ and not in as an at-large.
Well, Jay doesn't matter because he's got the TW. We'll kind of put him in a separate category. But yeah, for him, it's just about house money. Try to get your top 4 spot. If not, I think he'd be content with a top 10 spot. For Bob had that miracle run, of course, no consistency. He's been all over the board. The one thing he does have, though, I'm pretty sure, is he has that tiebreaker over. Was it who was it? Red?
Red, he does have the tiebreaker over Red. He has some big wins, and I think that's the biggest thing for Bob Ross to land himself ahead of Gio, because I think the problem for Gio, he doesn't have any big wins right now. Gio has good consistency, but no big wins. Bob Ross had that big run, but also had some big wins. So
Okay, yeah, Bob. But when Bob then with those big wins in tiebreaker, I like his spot. I almost put him in the looking good, more of a pseudo looking good position. He can put the pressure. Gio, he's been Mr. Elite Eight, but like you said, you got DQ, you don't have enough of a build up, and I can trust him making another Sweet 16. That probably would just get him in, but I don't think he's going to be in a position for top four. For him, it's about maybe just staying with 8, 7, 9, get around there. Jay, I don't. Jay's whatever. White, he's vulnerable. I think now the rest are vulnerable. And I know White was supposed to be up here
White
because
Spider.
he was.
This is the second. I'm gonna mention this. All sorry to cut you off, but this is the second season in a row White Spider is in the bubble going in the tournament for.
Yeah, that's not a good spot to be in. Believe it or not, for White, you gotta think you're with the number one and number two guys with Pikachu, and Pikachu's not even in this bubble. He's in striking distance, so yeah, you got to think this is mine. You have to take this. This is my territory. If you can't get it done here, then what are you going to do? I don't think it's about getting in the top four for White. It's just get in the field. The last thing you want to do is be a second year in a row, number 11 or 12, miss out, and then you pray for the LCQ, which is not a guarantee. It will be a smaller field, but still. As for the rest, out of those three, Joao doesn't have a tournament enters. He's losing out there, and he's only had that miracle run and lost. I think he's going to have to do a lot of work. Mark, he's been around the block. He's the most EXP guy here. You can never go wrong with EXP. I'm always a sucker for EXP. So I still can't count him out. Taco's just, in my opinion, is a little too inconsistent for me to say he's a top 10 player. However, if White or even, let's say, Gio start to fumble a little bit or they lose round 1, 2, then he can sneak in there because he's good for a round of 16 appearance.
Two regional
And if
finals
two wins,
appearances.
yeah, I mean, if he can, and even if you get a round of 16, the guys lose round 1 or 2, and you start to think about resume, that might be enough, right? Out of those positions, I'd rather be Bob or I'd rather be Mark because the end. If you're Mark, you have nothing to lose. You've been here so many times. The EXP got that March run, which no matter what, you're in the LCQ at the minimum. So you almost can say this is a house win. And Bob, he's got tiebreakers with glory and good wins, and you can almost say, you know what? I got nothing to lose too. The rest are excluding Jay Buddy because we know he's going to be in no matter what. Too inconsistent or just too consistent to the point where they don't have enough flash. That's going to kill you. So weird spot. I think I'd rather be in Bob or Mark's spot for sure.
All right, these last two will just go generally speaking. I'll still list the people, but don't need to have specific thoughts. Just like a general overlay for these people. Number 14, Artem. Number 15, Bree, who's the lowest of the people who has an LCQ spot right now. Number 16, Captain Gaming. Number 17, Amazing Pikachu. We talked about him earlier. Number 18, Ninja Jackson. Number 19, Marcus. I mean, this is the striking distance group. I mean, you think they're not in the bubble picture, but I mean, if enough people slip up and they have good runs, they could maybe slide in. But I think the biggest thing for these people is to get those wins they need, whether it be one win in the case of Arnim Pikachu or two wins for everyone else to make sure they're in the LCQ at least and have that chance to get the 11 or 12 seeds. But any thoughts on these players?
Bree's good to go because she did get that Final Four run. So no matter what, we'll see Bree in the LCQ. So that's automatic house money. You got to think house money. Artem is in a tricky spot because he needs one more win for the LCQ, but he's in no man's land trying to get top 10, fighting from behind. I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen much. No, I'm sorry, I have not seen enough of Ninja Jackson Market. I know Ninja beat Luke, but without that win, he's nowhere, right? And that's the problem. He's gonna have to go for Marcus. So I said Cap Gaming was a possible spoiler. I did like where he was at. He's back in the hunt in a sense. He's gonna be back for his throw with no issues. He might be someone to watch. Pikachu, yeah, LCQ, great, but it's the same conversation. You got to stake what's yours. You were a top 2 seed overall. Two guys, you and White, did not make D1, right? You were the lone cutoff people, and now you got to stake your claim because if you don't make it again, sure you'll be a top contender again for next year, but then you start becoming into a conversation like Mark. When is the time? So now's the time for Pikachu to strike. We know how electric he is on pace. He's probably one of the fastest players. I know he's slowed down a little bit with this bot, but still one of the fastest players. Reminds me a lot of Ghost. Something's going to have to give for him. And I would say out of that spot, but once again, I'd rather be in Bree's spot because you have nothing to lose. You're already in the LCQ guarantee thanks to your March run, and you can just go balls to the wall. And that's sometimes what you need to spark it for sure.
All right, and then we'll jump into the final one. Outside looking in, we actually have a lot of new. There's five people jumped into the rankings here. Bob Ross was one of them, but the other four are in this tier. So out of the new people, Nifty, Marbleside, Emmy, and Rune. So 20th, 22nd, 23rd, and 25th respectively. But then the other two are Evan, who stays at 21, and then Scars, who drops down 24th. A really bad loss in tournament 3. And he's also really been nowhere since February. But I mean, your comments on these people, I mean, they're kind of in the same mindset of making the LCQ, but do you think there's anything else that they can do here as well? I mean, Marbleside, the only rookie from last tournament to make it into the top 25. He sneaks in at 22, but your thoughts on what any of these players just kind of need to do in general? Because some of these guys need to go on big runs, but they definitely are people who you could play spoiler.
Yeah, Rune and Emmy, you think about those two, been here before, done that. Maybe you look into. I don't have any much data on the rest. Scars has been just had that one good run, nowhere to be seen. I don't even know about Marble, man. Marble, Evan. I know Marble from our communities, but they're just too hard to read. The best thing to do really here is you have nothing to lose. You just go full balls to the wall. You really can't. You really can't do anything with striking distance. You really can't do anything with the bubble combo until you get that first round win. You go into play. You basically go into LCQ mode. I think you try to get to that 5. Is there anyone that needs 2 wins in that group to get to the 5? Is there anybody?
Emmy's been consistent. She's been making the round 32 every time. She needs to break through the round 32 though to make it in. That's been her biggest problem all season. 3 round 32 exits. Nifty needs 2 wins. Evan needs 2 wins. Scars needs 2 wins. Rude and Marble need 3.
Yeah, that's a lot. And I think you get to this point, 3 wins is, especially when you haven't been there all year, that's rough. I think because of that, it's going to have to be just go straight balls to the wall, man. If there's nothing you can do, you might as well try. Now, the only thing I will say, it is a small thing I will say about Rune and Emmy, because they have the EXP, they can rely on maybe their past LCQ runs to go into that mindset. It's a small advantage. But looking at this G, like we said, we don't think we're going to get a. Remember, 10 people got to automatically lock in. So you take those 10 people out, and let's say Jay Money ain't in the top 10. We know he's going to be locked in. So, looking at maybe 8 to 10 people in LCQ rank, that's it. Barring something crazy, I don't see us getting more than 12. Now that I look at the field, maybe 12 might be it. It might be a quicker LCQ than, let's say, last year, which was a lower bar. Though. Remember, we had 2 wins the bar,
Yeah.
and it was 24 people.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous enough for sure. That's my thoughts on it, though. I think it's a good mix. I think if you're the top guys, you just really do what you've been doing all season. If you're looking good, same thing. If you're the bubbles, you're gonna have to put pressure. Anything beyond that, unless your name is Bree, you're gonna go full balls to the wall. That's really all I can say.
All right, well, that'll do it for the DC Championship discussion. Again, that's your current top 25. We go into Just July, where the tagline is "Fates will be decided" here. As again, for a lot of those people who are not in the LCQ yet, 5 wins is going to be the golden number to make sure their season stays alive. Because otherwise, it's that or a Final Four run. Otherwise, the season is going to be over for them. So, going to be a lot of playoff games and a lot of tension in that one. We'll see who gets the job done.
We'll go to now our good old Tilt 32 preview here. Got some good game. We're not going to really make a crazy prediction on the Brock game because we don't know who will be, so we'll just make a double prediction on that. Kind of foreshadow. But regardless, we'll just get to it. Let's start it off right, G. Matt Johnson versus Hockey. Matt coming off a TW win, gets back on the old horse. Yeah, what a season it's been. Hockey still needs a lot to clean up. I think this game, Hockey can win this game. It's winnable, but Mac is just hot right now. I'm going Mac in 7. He's just found something this year. It's been incredible to watch. You got to respect it. And I think there's the fact that it's a non-stream game too is helping Mac. Because if it was a stream game, a little bit more pressure, right? Because you're just the tournament winner. He got lucky in a sense. The top 25 games took precedent. So realistically, I think I'm going to go Mac here. A little bit more ammo control. How he's got to learn a little bit more, maybe learn some more from Mac in future runs. What do you got here?
There's been some chaos with these matches at times, and the prior tournament winner is currently 0-2 in this round at the moment, so I actually think the trend continues here. I have hockey winning 4-3 on a shocker. It's just kind of something about that, I guess the championship hangover in a way for some of these players that kind of beat them up, and ultimately I think hockey's going to be able to take advantage of that. It's going to be a close match, but I think hockey survives.
All right, let's move over to the next game. It's going to be Gold Ellison. I'm going with Gold here, G4-1. I like the CPU's prediction, and history says this is going to happen. Let's not forget Peter and Ellison playing. That was the second straight Illinois player. He's going to be playing this round. I think Ellison's good for a win, but he needs to take that next level. I don't know. The Gold is a player that has too many looks. Logan had 1D, 2D looks. You're not going to get away with that with Gold. Gold is a multifaceted player. I think, unfortunately for Gold, it's not a good win in the resume, but it is a good win in confidence. I'm going Gold 4-1. Just too much here. What do you got?
I have Gold 4-2. I don't think Ellison's ever made it out of this round, and I mean he's been looking a little bit better, but I think Gold's kind of been on a revitalization arc, especially since after how last season went. So I think Gold wants to continue that. It's going to be able to do that here. Give me Gold 4-2 and 6.
All right, Golden 6. Well, we'll go to Sanford Bryan. Sanford, we know, one of the most decorated players here. Bryan will finally get 100 starts after a long time in this league. One of the OGs, been here since the start. Not many left, so I appreciate him sticking with us. But this is Sanford. I think the problem for Bryan is if he was a little bit more crisp on clean without making those mistakes, I give him a solid. But this is the one guy. You just make a couple mistakes, he's going to bite all over you. Too much Sanford here, but it's not good for Sanford because that's back-to-back Q4 wins, and he's a resume guy. He knows he's got to go out there and keep winning. Sanford, but it's closer than people think. I'll go Sanford in 6.
I'm gonna have Sanford in 5. I think it was a good win from Brian, all things considered, but I think some of his antics are gonna get shut down by Sanford. Sanford knows he needs these wins, so I think he's gonna be more locked in. He's not gonna try to play any of his tomfoolery here, but I think Sanford's gonna take care of business in this one.
Sanford in 6. Last game. This is the game of the round, at least in this region. Stream yet Yepez Nam. Gosh, I really think Nam's going to find a way to win this one, G. I really do. I'm going to go with the CPU. I have to. I think Yepez will finish it in 7, but something tells me Nam is building confidence. You can beat a guy like Cap who does low tier, and Yepez is not a low tier guy. This play is right in Nam's hands. I'll go Yepez in 7, but I wouldn't be shocked if Nam pulls it off for sure.
I'm gonna go with Dom. I'm gonna go with Dom on this one actually. I think this has kind of been a tournament where he can just kind of find himself back into the hunt here, and Yepes has kind of been a little bit all over. I mean, he's had a good start, but had some hiccups here and there. But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be Nom. He's just gonna try to carry momentum forward. Wins it 4-2. So definitely expecting some upsets here and there, and I think this is where one of them comes.
Next region, we'll go over to it. This is going to be a burn burner, Myth and Yoshi. I'm actually going to agree with you, G. I'm actually going to buy into the Kool-Aid. That Myth gameplay that we talk about so well, it's very hard to read. I'm going Myth in 7. The problem is I wasn't a believer in it a lot for much of the year, but now I'm starting to think, man, it's an echo chamber. I hope Yoshi can figure it out, but that's not an easy style to figure it because when he was playing back in the day, it was easy to figure out. But with this bot, for some reason, you can play those quick games. You can really strike the opponent while it's hot. I'm going to buy into your Kool-Aid. I'm going with 7 in Myth, but I really like what you said a couple episodes about. I'll give you credit. It does exist. The Myth Uno does exist.
I think the Myth Uno does exist, and I think it's going to remain strong here. Although here's the thing, I mean, Yoshi does have some decent experience with runs in Myths League, where that more quick pace style does end up emerging more often. But I think this will be a close. I think this will actually be a close one here. I think Myth starts off strong. Yoshi finds his way slowly back in, but Myth's going to be able to barely hang on. I think I have Myth winning in 7.
Out of all the games, Jay, this is probably the hardest game to read. You look at Jay, we don't know. He's coming off this DQ win. We don't know where his head's at. Drip stole one. This is crazy. I'm actually going to go with the upset. I don't usually pick against Caesar, but the CPU says represent. I think the reason why we don't have round 1 data on Caesar, we don't know where his head's at. I think he will be in the game. He's trying to go for 100 wins in his career. But this was, we just don't know. If he would have played Steven, would he have been here in the first play? I think because of the uncertainty, I'm going Drip in 7 to keeps the run hot. What do you got?
I think Caesar stays alive here. I mean, I've said this before. He's a quad 3, quad 4 merchant, so this kind of falls into his wheelhouse here. But again, it kind of depends on how this next result goes above him. But I'm gonna say Caesar wins it 4-2. Gets another opportunity of maybe getting a quad one win in Myth, but I think for Caesar the goal is to find a quad one win anywhere.
He needs to find something big. And well, we'll move over to his next one, G. Abion Aria. Aria got the match he wanted with Ghost. Abion is not the quickest player and loves +2 control. That's tough for Aria, who's admitted in the past that +2 control is something new and learning. Because of that, I think this is Abion's time to shine. I think the shenanigans and the jitters with them are gone. He's locking in here. I got Abion. I think Aria will put up a fight, but for her, it's looking towards T5 and something big for sure. What do you got?
I think Arya could have a bit of a struggle early on, but I think she's gonna find a way. I think this could be something that comes down to the cards, and maybe Arya finds something big in like later half of the series. I think Arya wins 4-3. Might be able to escape the +2s because again, I feel like this could be a situation where Avian actually does not get +2s, and he really can't do his style here. So I'm going for a bit of a call on some bot misfortune here, but I think Arya is gonna survive.
All right, that's right. All right. And this next one, this is unfortunately not streamed, but definitely a rematch and a rivalry from March 24th. Great game. Sting figured out. Brad last time. Brad won barely in 6. Closer than you think. I'll go Brad in 7. This is Sting's opportunity, man. If he would have got anybody else, it's a different story. He needed this pod. Sting has a shot to pull something. He knows Brad's style, which is concerning. I'll say Brad wins because he needs it more, but it is the ultimate playoff game, just like Chavez there. 3-4, 5 versus 4 wins for sure. What do you got?
I had that big run in tournament three, and I mean we've seen how we saw last season how the tournament three finalists ultimately did not fare out well in the end. Again, I'm someone who kind of goes off trends here. There isn't a ton of trends here on this one specifically, but I think something's telling me Sting's gonna be able to use that knowledge to his advantage, win it in 6, move on. I think that's gonna put Brad in a spot where he's gonna need to clutch out tournament 5, and get a good run going. But I think Sting looking at this game as an opportunity, and he's gonna try to take full advantage of it.
We'll move over to Diamond Ring, which was basically the chalk region. Only Lamas was the upset. Well, yeah, done here, Monkey Lamas. I'm gonna go with the CPU Monkey in 7, but once again, like not, I would not be surprised if Lamas wins this game. He's riding a ridiculous amount of momentum off the table and even on the table. The way he played against Clay, this is the one seat you probably want to get because we've never seen Monkey with the #1 player tag role in this response. We don't know what he's gonna do in this situation. This is where Lamas can shine. I'll say Monkey wins. He'll hold strong, but he's gonna have to really be wary because Cody's hot right now. What do you think, G?
I think Lamas has something good going here. I think he's trying the Florida Panthers wave again. So I think he'll be able to kind of use that in a way and get some fortune on the cards, win it 4-1, keep himself alive and well, and get a big win on the season. Try to throw himself into the Super League conversation. Probably will need to do a little bit more beyond that, but I mean that will be a good start for him. So I think Lamas wins in a 4-1. I think there is some card misplay in this one as not misplay card shenanigans in this one as well, but I think Lamas gets to win.
Well, gee, this is going to be a crazy game. This is our first top 25 game. It's going to be Vapor Acosta 17th versus 24. Obviously, we kind of know some guys faltered, so you got to think Acosta's probably already in the top 20 in people's mind. Vapor probably already in Super League. So this is definitely a game that Acosta would need more, but it's not the worst thing because of his resume being good. I'll say Vapor wins in 7, but this is the one style Vapor is not played. He hasn't played this more Mediano to slow style, and that can trip up these quick players. Vapor's going to have to be careful. I'll say he gets in 7, but closer than people think. Acosta's going to really show something here because no one had him this far ever, to be honest. Your thoughts on that?
I think Acosta's riding the wave here, and I think for Vapor, it's kind of sometimes has these weird trip ups in these matchups which have these ranked players. So I think Acosta continues the unbelievable run, wins it 4-3, wins it in 7, makes it to the round 16 for the second straight tournament after never making it to this point beforehand.
If he does that, then we're talking about Acosta Super League, because that'd be ridiculous. The last top 25 game is Lane. This one's a top 15 game. It's going to be number 11 Lane versus number 13. Yeah, this is going to be a great game. 6-3 or 7-3 Lane, 5-3 Andy. Andy needs this one more. Lane at the same time needs this one more too because he doesn't have the resume. The only thing I'm worried about Andy is he was scared of Lane in his pregame quotes. I think that's the one thing I have to think that Lane will have an advantage of. And Lane, gee, he's just been quietly consistent. No drama. I know he got into issues with Radin, but it's been just drama free, and that's what you gotta do to make a Super League run. Drama free. I got laying 7. I think the drama free run continues. What do you got?
I have Andy in 5. I think something goes wrong in this game. Kind of similar to what happened with the Radin issue last season. Um, but I mean, Andy's finally broken off from Logan here and is looking to kind of pave his own way to the Super League at the moment. So I think this would be a big win for him here. Lane is struggling a little bit on the quality wins side of things. Andy can get another good win here and put himself in a really good spot to possibly make the field. So I think Andy can win this one with some shenanigans here and there. But give me Andy in 5.
No prediction for you, GC. Your thoughts real quick on playing Goldie. You obviously know her.
Looking forward to playing Goldie. I thought she did some good stuff in D2 last season. It's had a okay start to the season D1, but hopefully it'll be a good match, and looking forward to it.
I got the CPU saying you win 6. I agree. I think Goldie will have to really learn from this game. I think he's a player that likes to learn the first 2 games. You're not an easy guy to read, and unfortunately, that's tough for Goldie. I think you just have enough of an advantage. You're not going to settle down for nobody. You got this one thing. It's going to be close than people say, but I think you got enough to pull away in the end. Last region, we started off with Nick and B.
Hold on a second. Can you just repeat that for a second?
Nick,
Background.
got me?
Yeah.
You got me?
Yeah,
Okay.
just one more time.
10-4 copy test?
Yes.
Okay. Nick's going to be one of these guys to try to shake off whatever that was against Monkey. I think background is just struggling enough in round 2, and especially against the Marsh champ. I know the Marsh champ curse exists for certain things, but Nick said I still have faith can break it. I think he breaks the right hitter to win, gets the 9th win of the season, and the quest for 10 begins. Give me Nick 4-3. What do you got?
I have Nick 4-3 also. I think this is going to come down to the wire, but I think it for background it's kind of been a series of heartbreaks in the league, and I think the heartbreak here is not making it out of the round 32. Last season it was the finales. This season I think it's round 32 here because he's had really good consistency, but this round it's just not really gone his way here. I think Nick's going to survive and continue trying to break that March winner curse.
Well, I'm going to say I'm completely disagreeing with the computer saying Tapir's going to win this one on Gentleman's Suite. That's just not. I don't think so. I think this is what Curtis needed. A player like Tapir gambles a lot, gets weird luck. That's the one style Curtis can play. We see in the past he can do it against Brock. Brock's similar style. He won. Because of that, I think DJ actually will make this go 7. I'll say Tapir wins. Another one of these games circle. I wouldn't rather have DJ Curtis. This is a guy that loves his style and he knows how to play because Brock and Tapir are very similar in play style. Don't count on DJ. We might be sleeping on him here. I'll say Tapir in 7, closer than people think. What do you got?
I have Tapir winning 4-2. I mean, you talk about Curtis being a player that just goes off the vibes here, but I think for this Curtis, the important thing was getting a win on the table here, and the problem is Tapir is going to be really locked in to try to get it back into the top 16 for Super League. So we've seen Tapir be able to work his magic when he can. I mean, he really worked his magic in the last round. Absolutely unbelievable way to escape that one, but I think he'll be able to find another one to get through and get another good run going. He wins it 4-2.
Don't have a prediction for this one with the CB, so I'll have to make my own on this one. If Toasty wins and Toasty Brock, I'm going to go with Toasty wins 4-3 against Brock. I think Brock. We know he heats up, but Toaster guy is a guy to play very concise and very clean on the table. Not sure Brock's gonna be now. If it's Brock, 100%. If it's Brock versus Dark, I'm got Brock 4-2. I think Dark. The problem is Brock knows how to play chaotic enough to where it gets Dark a little off center, but hard to read. If Brock does get Dark, I think he wins and he starts making a run. If he gets Toasty, it ends there, and he'll be a no man's land T5. But then again, it's the one guy that you probably could trust. Look what he did last year. What do you got here? We got to make 2 predictions though.
I'm only making one because I have an unconditional Brock 4-2 win here. I think
Okay.
Brock's going to be able to just kind of keep things rolling here with this run, and I think with Toaster Guy Dark Rain with the breaks and whatnot, and probably going to have to run this game decently quick within a time span of finishing that one and then the round of 32. It's going to be a little bit tough for them, but I think Brock has had the rest. It's going to be well focused and prepared for this one and be able to get the win here.
My thoughts on Lara last game of the round. At this rate, G, I look at my resume. It's ridiculous. Every single one of my guys won on my resume that I needed to win in round one. I'm on a ridiculous streak right now, and I'm not even doing much. So now at this rate, I'm looking at this game. Forget the resume, house money. I got nothing to lose here. I've seen what Larry can do with that slow methodical style. I can play that style. I'm looking forward to it. I think he's impressed me a lot, and I'm looking forward to this challenge. I have a lot of respect for the guy too, so it should be a fun one. What do you got here? I'm not making no.
I think this is going to be a really close match, but I think you're going to find a way to get out of it and win 4-3. I think ultimately with house money, you might go for one or two things that might be a little unconventional, but take a few risks, take a few decently big risks and get away with it. So I think being on house money is going to help you be a little bit more free flowing and go for some things that maybe a more reserve player would not go for. So I think you survive 4-3, but it'll be a really good match.
All right, G, thank you so much. Check us out on, of course, YouTube. Want to thank everyone for sticking. Obviously, we'll have the next episode sometime next week. We should have some more time off, but thanks to G for sticking. We apologize for the audio issues a little bit earlier. We'll get that resolved. And we'll look forward to the next tournament coming up. We have Justice July right around the corner. We'll be the reveal show tomorrow. When you hear this, we will get this out tonight or tomorrow morning. We'll have Justice July reveal, and of course, the conclusion. We'll have the conclusion of T4. How we get to the end of the month. We'll be starting to wrap it up. We'll get to the Elite Eight even, and get it going. So lots of fun stuff coming. Summer break's coming soon for D1, and of course D2 right around the corner. We'll start getting the championship season. Check us out, YouTube. Appreciate G. Thanks to the fans. Have a great night, and we'll see you back for a little recap of this Tilt 32. Get into some round one of Justice July. And of course, it's time to go straight flushing in the straight 16 in Jackpot June. Have a good one. We'll see you there.